Can you win a maritime law or Jones Act case if you have not filled out an accident report? I'm maritime attorney Tim Young, and a lot of our clients as well as prospective clients will ask us, if I have not filled out an accident report, can I still win a case for an accident that happened on a vessel or an oil rig? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. There's other ways that you can prove that you had an accident even if no accident report was ever completed. I want to discuss those with you in this video. The first thing I want to point out, however, though, is most companies have a rule that accidents are supposed to be reported immediately once they happen. Now, that's a very different thing than an accident report actually being completed and written out. And the distinction, the difference is, a lot of times employees do not control whether or not a report is actually completed and written out. A lot of times the best an employee can do is simply report verbally. They can simply tell their supervisor or their boss that they had an accident and that they may have suffered an injury. At that point, it's pretty much up to your boss or your supervisor if he is going to go get the written report, actually fill out the form in writing, and get you to sign it. So one of the first things we always ask our clients and prospective clients is, did you verbally report it and the company simply failed to fill out the written report? If that's the situation, then generally the company's going to have a hard time using that against you in court. Even if you don't have an accident report that was completed, a lot of times there'll be other records on the oil rig or on the vessel that can prove you had an accident. Generally, we'll look to the medic records. If you're on an oil rig, a lot of times the medic will make a notation if you come in for treatment. A lot of times we'll see that our client or prospective client actually went to the medic, complained about some type of an injury or hurting it on some part of their body, and that's a pretty good record that something had happened to that person while they were offshore. So one of the first things we ask for are the medic records to see if there's any indication that our client may have suffered an injury while working offshore. We can then establish that he obviously had an accident because he reported to the medic and he got treatment from the medic. Another area where you can try to prove your accident, even if you don't have an accident report, is through your own doctor records. A lot of our prospective clients and clients will go home and they'll go to an emergency room or their family doctor right after the hitch when they suffer an injury, and they'll actually report to the doctor or to the emergency room how the injury occurred offshore. So another thing that we always are sure to get anytime we take a case are the emergency room records as well as the family records from our client. Very often the client will give a very good history to his family doctor or to the emergency room about how the accident happened, and we can use that basically as an accident report to show how his accident happened offshore. There are three other ways that you can prove that you had an accident offshore even if no accident report was completed. One of them is through statements that may have been given after you reported your accident. A lot of times what happens is individuals will suffer an accident at work, they verbally report it, and an accident report is not done. What ends up happening down the road is they need medical treatment, and the company insurance agent or company representative will then take a recorded statement from that individual and want to know what happened and how did it happen. Well, what's real important is usually that company representative or insurance agent is also calling your coworkers, and usually he's asking them, did this man actually have an accident and was he hurt offshore? And a lot of times they're tape recording that. So one of the things that we always look for are statements that your coworkers may have given, tape recorded statements over the telephone or in person, that your coworkers may have given where they actually confirm that you had an accident. A lot of times these statements are taken within a month or 2 or maybe 3 months of the accident occurring. If we can go into court and make the company give us those tape recorded statements, a lot of times it's easy, real easy to show that you had an accident while working out there, even if there's no accident report. Another way that you can prove you had an accident offshore is through the testimony of your coworkers. And this will occur as your case progresses. Basically, you're allowed to take depositions from them, and if they're being honest, a lot of times you can have them voluntarily explain that you did have an accident and simply a report was not completed. If you have testimony from your coworkers confirming that you had an accident, even though there's no accident report, very often it's easy to win your case and to prove that your accident occurred. A final way that you can win your case if no accident report was completed for a maritime or Jones Act case is simply by your own testimony. Now, honestly, this is a very hard thing to do. Usually you need written records or you need at least a co-worker to confirm your accident. But under the law, you are allowed to win your case. You're allowed to prove your case simply with your own testimony. You can go into court, you can take the stand, and you can explain what happened to you. So you do not need an accident report in writing. You don't even need medical records or even co-witnesses or co-workers to confirm your accident. You can win your case simply based on your own testimony if that is all that you have. Call us if you have any questions at all about whether an accident report should have been completed or how you may be able to prove your case if an accident report was not completed under the Jones Act or under a maritime law case.